So this is good. Actually, as I'm about to drive this vehicle, I have not driven a manual transmission since I broke my ankle. So this to me is practically physical therapy for my clutch foot. So I think that's fair game where, you know, I'll get to see how my, you know, healed and recovered ankle works with, you know, managing a clutch. Oh, it's weird too. I actually just felt the seatbelt kind of tighten on me. So there must be some sort of adjustment here. So that's interesting.
It's a BMW and Mercedes thing. They like to hug you a little bit when you go.
Clearly, I'm feeling the love. Yep, and you definitely have those good old-fashioned M brakes that they'll stop you. It's actually a pretty easy clutch to figure out. It's not super complex or like weird. So I find it a very easy clutch to figure out. It shifts pretty easy too. BMWs tend to have like a rubbery feel in the shift gates from what I've noticed, but this one's pretty easy to drive and it's not too notchy. So for a vehicle spec like this to be a, you know, as like I said, the owner kind of wanted to have more of a grand touring vibe. This makes sense, but it's actually just a real easy car to drive, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, these brakes, man, these brakes really mean business. They are not like economy car brakes that you'll find in your Honda Civic that you probably have to stand with 2 feet on compared to this thing. Yeah, and really good position too. It's really easy to, you know, find a great driving position here. The owner of this vehicle, who, you know, we'll have a sit down in a moment. We're close in height, so I didn't really have to adjust it. It just feels at home, and these seats are wonderful. I really think that BMW, they got, whatever it is, they have driving feel down to a science. The seats feel great. The, you know, throttle feels great. Clutch feels easy. Steering, you know, from what I can tell, it feels great. We'll get more feedback on that in just a second as we're about to do our little highway route. And you know, here we're at a institution of higher learning where we're having, you know, some youth and young drivers nearby as they're embarking on their academic careers. Oftentimes they're not the most aware drivers, so we will be careful as we are driving this lovely vehicle around, especially as these students are, you know, often a little. Oh yeah, another BMW, you know, family member there of the M family, the M6. So see, there's BMW family ties abound.
Welcome to Ann Arbor.
Yeah, it is a really easy vehicle to drive. Sometimes with performance vehicles, the clutch is very hard and very stiff. Same with the, you know, with the throttle, and steering's very heavy. This is pretty light steering. For people that are able to drive a manual gearbox, which I know those numbers are shrinking by the day, this is a pretty easy transmission to shift with. Not that hard to figure out. For many performance vehicles, they tend to have very notchy, you know, feels with their gearbox. I personally like that. I do like, you know, almost like that short throw, like, you know, metallic, you know, shifter bolt action feel. Not everyone likes that, so I get it. This is a vehicle that is, it's a performance vehicle, but it's made for anyone to feel comfortable driving. And with that too, I'll say this, the throttle's actually not that sensitive, because a lot of sports cars tend to have very, very sensitive throttles, so when you get in on it, it feels like you're about to rev the engine to the moon. This one, you know, I'm driving at pedestrian speeds as I'm obeying the laws of the road. Something that, you know, many owners of these vehicles don't often say or adhere to, but this, you know, it's easy to do. And you can just cruise in this car, you know, enjoy it, hear that light hum of the inline six and the low RPMs. I don't really hear, so far, I'm trying to listen to see if I can hear the turbos or any evidence of them. I don't hear anything yet. But it is torquey. I'm in 5th gear and I just did a slight pull and I went from 35 to 50. and it is very responsive. Easy to downshift too. I just did a downshift there and had zero issue. Oh, red light. So yeah, no, it's a real pleasure to drive. And right here we have interesting planning. Oh, now they're letting me turn. And actually over the bumps too, we just went over train tracks. I didn't feel like too much of a judder and jar that you feel on very stiff suspensions. Overall, it's pretty easy to just get it and go.
Do a burnout.
And you hear the devil on my shoulder, encouraging me to partake in irresponsible driving in the background. And since I'm driving the car of a dear friend, I will not do a burnout, as I don't want to have him incur any expenses on the tires. And these rear tires are probably very expensive, so I will be delicate for the time being in this beautiful vehicle. And I have to say too, the leather on this steering wheel feels great. It's funny when you drive leather, or like you drive vehicles from mainstream brands, and they try and have like a fake synthetic material that looks like leather, and after a couple of years it becomes hard as rock. This feels really nice, and I have a feeling that this material, it will feel good for years to come. And I do love the navigation here. Now obviously it's a very limited display, you have more information here, but it gives you like a rough idea of where you are. It doesn't show road names or anything, but points you in the right direction. And if you're familiar with the area, you'll know, okay, I'm on X road, or I'm coming up to Y highway. So that's a nice feature. But yeah, and here we're feeling it in these light and delicate bends. It's pretty flat. I don't feel a lot of body roll. I'm enjoying it. And you just hear that inline six. It's a good sound. Yeah, driving this vehicle, for ankle movement is better than any physical therapy that any hospital system could try and sell me. Oh wow, yeah, look at those bumps. You definitely don't want to hit those in a sports car like this, and I would not want to, damage these lovely, machine finished wheels, and I would not want to mess up these tires, because, those brakes in the road could do some damage. All right, and here we are. We're about to enter the highway.
You can introduce.
There you go.
Well, yeah, this spec is probably like 4 to 4.1 seconds, and we'll see,
Got some beans.
Woohoo! So I did hear a little evidence of the turbos. Like I heard a little whistle there on that. And then here, see, easy to follow the speed limit. As you know, we always follow those rules of the road, and we don't encourage irresponsible driving on this channel. But yeah, easy to drive and actually very smooth. Once again, I can hold a conversation with friends here in the car, and as a reminder that I'm following the speed limit, I have the heads-up display not only telling me the speed limit is 70 miles an hour, but I am adhering to the speed limit and the rules of the road in this lovely state of Michigan with the smoothest roads imaginable to man. Oh, and here's another evidence of that we have, useless drivers not knowing what they're doing. You have to love the American driver's education system, because clearly these people don't know what on earth they're doing. Absolutely appalling. It's nice too, because as I was getting near the red line, it actually has like a built-in shift light. So, the red line is, I believe it looks like it's around 7,200 RPMs, give or take. So you'll know when to shift. You see, you have like the yellow bar and then the red bar at that red line. So, nothing abnormal.
So this car, when it's cold out, like when the engine first starts and it's cold, you'll actually have a lower red line. The as the car warms up a bit, then it'll go higher.
Which makes sense. Yeah, I've seen similar technology.
Protect the engine a little bit.
Oh, so it looks like, Michigan's finest. They, nabbed someone for, breaking the law. It's a shame that people of ill repute are on our roads doing such terrible things and backing up, honest travelers like myself in this beautiful BMW.
I've never exceeded 70 in this car ever.
Yep. Only the most honest drivers drive this vehicle. But yeah, it's a wonderful car. You can drive this thing on the highway easily in suburban America. I will say, even though this manual transmission isn't hard to operate, driving this in a big city like a Chicago or a New York, it would be tough. So you better know what you're getting yourself into, and you better, be prepared for that. You better think about your driving situation if you are interested in the manual. One thing too, and I, spoke with the owner on this, and we'll get some feedback from him in a moment. He did imply that he believed that BMW kind of, thought that the manual transmission addition for this generation was a bit of an afterthought, and that they really put more of their focus in the automatic transmission, which that is the faster transmission, especially, if you get the automatic gearbox equipped with the X-Drive, their all-wheel drive platform. You can get a 0 to 60 time in the low 3s, and with some tunes you may be even able to get into the high 2s according to some rumors. This, you'll be in the low 4s, and that's plenty quick. You will beat most cars on the road, but just know some owners have felt that BMW didn't put their best effort into the manual. I find it rather enjoyable, lovely vehicle, feels great, and it just feels like there's torque anywhere. Like, I'm in 6th gear and I could, give a light tap and, get up to speed, give a nice downshift. And it's a smooth transmission, really easy to downshift, really easy to figure out. And it feels great. I love the feel of the shift knob too. I don't imagine a lot of BMW M owners are the types to buy these aftermarket shift knobs. This one feels great, great material. It has a good anatomical fit, whether if you grab the shifter from here or here, easy to operate. And as we're coming on the exit, I'll do a downshift there. I can do it this way too. Yeah, very easy, fun, lovely. Now, I'm gonna try and avoid the messed up parts of this exit ramp. As many people know, many of these roads are not the smoothest. Handles the bumps like a champ. One thing too that I'd have to get used to if I own this vehicle, so as noted, as you may have seen in some of the B-roll shots earlier, the throttle pedal is floor mounted. For me, with if I were to do like a bliff of the throttle with my foot, I've always found these floor mounted throttles more difficult to do, a heel toe. I prefer the floating pedals, that's just my opinion. But I do love, overall I love the package, and I think BMW did an excellent job. I hope that they don't, leave manual transmissions out to dry. I've heard that they don't want to make them in the coming generations anymore. BMW, don't do that. Keep the manual going. And let's see, we'll do a lovely. Yeah, this is a wonderful car. And if you're, someone who has a light commute to work and you need something that's moderately practical, this is it. You got great seats, great technology. You have usable back seats that are, being utilized as we speak. Great trunk space. If you need all-wheel drive, you can get all-wheel drive. It's a great vehicle. And I know that front grille is polarizing, but in person it looks a lot better than people think. And this is a theory that I have. I think that this generation will actually become very sought after in the future. It's one of those things where people were very harsh on that grille design, but as things age, when this model eventually gets discontinued and the next BMW M3, M4 generation come out, this will likely be the last, the last BMW M4 with a manual gearbox offered, with a traditional internal combustion engine offered. So for people who own this vehicle, hold on to it, especially if you have that manual gearbox.